How's it going, ladies and bruisers? I'm Bobby Sixkilla and welcome back to Corpse Factory. We finished the game in the last episode with our ending B, false. So, seeing we have the access to ending A, true, and ending C, hell, I figure we should go over those as well and see how it's meant to go. Although I think the epilogue is going to be the same either way. So, and I think the bonus endings will have to be unlocked by going through the game again. But I would like to know about these other endings here. We should go with hell first, I suppose, and then do true. Let's do that. Ending C, hell. I'm curious if it does change the epilogue or not. I imagine that the actual story is the same either way. But it might change how Nautico is at the end.
Good morning. Sorry I'm late.
Oh my god, it's Aoi Nautico. So, what I thought in the last episode was, oh my god, Nautico is not actually Nautico, that's the problem. She's actually Aoi wearing her skin. But I don't think that's true. I think that was actually Nautico, but this is Aoi. And I think that's quite obvious to people that know her quite well. Oh well. I make a quick apologetic bow to my co-workers before hurrying over to my desk. No one seems to be bothered about my tardiness. A few people offer a raised eyebrow, but they quickly return to their own work. I take a seat at my workstation and switch my computer on. It whirs to life as I organise my belongings. From my handbag I retrieve some key items. First is my canned coffee, still ice cold thanks to the convenience store's powerful refrigeration. Second is my headphones. I can't complete a day of tedious data entry without listening to music. I guess this is if when Aoi stabs us, we die, as opposed to survive. Last but not least is my phone. The screen is a little cracked, and the protective case has seen better days. But it's invaluable to me. Something feels slightly off as I look at the screen. There's a nagging feeling in my mind, some small voice telling me that this isn't my phone, but I know it's mine. The familiar red case, the spiderweb fractures inching across the glass. It's my phone, no doubt about it. Pushing the strange thoughts from my mind, I turn my attention to my computer. It doesn't take long to read over the day's list of tasks. I've been continuing what I started yesterday. Easy.
Noriko?
I'm startled by the sudden vocalization of my name. I don't know why. People call me by my name every day. Don't they?
Oh, hello, Fujikawa.
Shinya Fujikawa is standing at my desk, scratching his cheek awkwardly. I get the feeling he wants to approach a topic of conversation that makes him nervous.
I wanted to apologize. I haven't been present in the office of late.
You mean no one noticed that that's not fucking Nautico? It doesn't sound like her, it doesn't look like her, really.
Was there anything you needed to discuss with me during my absence?
I think about the question. Shinya and I don't really need to talk on a day-to-day basis. His work is fairly unrelated to mine. I'm just a data entry temp after all. But we do have a history together, I suppose. We went to school together after all. We were never exactly friends. Actually, I always kind of had the feeling that he had a crush on me, but he's not really the type of guy to make a confession. Aoi always used to joke about how he and I would make a cute couple, but I could never see it. He was and still is far too dull for my tastes. Aoi. Why does that name sound so distant? I try to put a face to the name, but my mind draws a blank. She was my best friend, and yet...
Noriko?
Oh, sorry. I get lost in my own head sometimes.
Yes, I see. Well, if there's nothing you need, then I'll be on my way.
Okay then.
Say, your old friend, Aoi Sato, have you heard from her lately?
No. Actually, I feel like something must have happened to her. We haven't spoken in... God knows how long.
Is that so? That's too bad.
I find it odd that he leaves the conversation with those last words. He simply walks away from my desk. My phone cries out, the unfamiliar ringtone, one that I never selected, splits my head wide open and prompts my brain to spill out between the cracks of my skull. I squeeze the sludgy grey matter back into my head and blink a few times, then realise that my brain is not actually leaking. Just a trick of the light? I struggle to maintain eye contact with the screen. The caller ID flashes across the device, identifying the caller as Nautico. Me. My own name, myself. Nautico is calling me? I'm calling myself? A dull ache still throbs within my head as though it's been recently emptied. I answer the call.
Hello?
I hear a sharp inhalation of breath and then the call cuts out. It takes a few seconds for me to realise I'm crying. Shinya's at my side, his arm around my shoulders, and within seconds, the rest of my co-workers are staring down at me. I'm on the floor, my face nestled within the plush office carpet. but I don't know how I got here. I'm supposed to be stoic, unflinching. It's my ideology, my entire identity. So much for stoic, unflinching Nautico. Remember stoic, unflinching Nautico? Maybe if I just close my eyes, I can make everything return to normal and start this day over again. Maybe. The stairs upward feel particularly difficult to climb today. It was a rather strange day at the office, but I know that returning home to my family will make me feel better. Your family? Shinya took me to the train station and waited until I boarded my train. It was really sweet of him. I don't fully recall the things he said to me. He might have mentioned something about not needing to return to the office anymore. Maybe all my work there is completed? My head is still a bit fuzzy, but I'll sift through the details after a hot shower later tonight. Since the sun is beginning to go down, I think the others should be home by now. Yuriko is probably relaxing on the sofa, and Mother should definitely be here, since she doesn't leave the apartment these days. I unlock the door to the apartment and wander inside.
I'm home.
Stepping through the open door is always a comforting feeling. It's good to return after a long day at work.
There you are. Good evening, big sis. Good evening, Mom.
Yuriko offers me a warm smile. She's changed a lot recently. Her foul, rebellious attitude disappeared when she moved in. Maybe she simply wanted our family to be reunited again. Maybe her delinquency was all just an act, a way of trying to deny what she really wanted. To simply return home. Mother, on the other hand, doesn't really regard my entrance, but that's nothing to be concerned about. She's always distant and aloof.
Shall we order in tonight? I'm thinking some pizza would be delicious.
Yuriko nods. The act causes a small clump of her hair to detach and flutter to the floor. I'm looking forward to a quiet night in with my family and some pizza. I never had the opportunity to enjoy these moments when I was growing up. In those days, I was simply grateful for the nights I could go to bed without a new bruise or gash to cover up. Mother used to kick me and slap me, but hang on. I look at her now, slumped on the couch, completely lost in her own world. That's not the mother that used to abuse me. That's not the mother that was married to my father. And Yuriko never used to stand up for me, but that's because Yuriko was never there when I was growing up. Where was she? I shut my eyes and try to sift through the confusing fragments of memories swirling within my mind. She's not my mother, this woman before me. She's Nautico's mother, that's it. That's how I know her. Wait, of course she's my mother. I'm Nautico. Duh. How can I forget something so simple? Yuriko was there when I was growing up. The reason she never stood up for me was because nobody ever abused me. God, I don't know why I get so confused and frazzled like this sometimes. I smile at my loving family and clap my hands together.
Okay, I'm going to order dinner. Is everyone happy with barbecue pizza?
Oh yeah, barbecue chicken? Yuriko nods and Mother lets out a quiet snore of approval. I whip my phone up to eye level and open a food delivery app. I notice that my battery only has 8% left. I should charge it before it dies on me. I keep a charger here in the living room, so it only takes me a second to waltz over to the wall socket. As I lean down to grab the charger, I see that another phone is already plugged in. Another phone? The case is blue, and the screen doesn't have a trace of damage on it. Whose phone is this? I nervously tap the screen and see a list of noise notifications. There are lots of messages from someone named Junpei. Junpei? That's a name that doesn't ring a bell. I check to see if the phone is unlocked by pressing my thumb against the home button. Strangely, my fingerprint unlocks the phone instantly. My fingerprint? But this isn't my phone. This can't be my phone. The messages from Junpei all open in quick succession. Babe, good news. Hit me up. Waiting for you. Coffee today? Are you mad at me? Talk to me, my whittled cherry blossom. I miss you. Did I do something wrong? That splitting sensation inside my skull returns as my eyes devour the contents of the never-ending string of messages. I feel like I know this person, but I can't picture a face. I can't picture any scenario in which we've ever met or spent time together. Why does he speak to me in such a familiar way? Wait, he's not speaking to me. Of course, this isn't my phone. These messages were never intended for me. I throw the phone aside, happy to have broken free of my concern. Doesn't matter who the phone belongs to. It's not mine, so I don't have to deal with it. I plug my own phone into the charger and feel relieved as I watch the battery icon slowly fill up.
Okay, Mom, Yuriko, I'm going to go take a shower while my phone charges. I'll order dinner after that. I promise. Thank you for being patient.
For the first time in a while, Mother actively responds to my voice.
Noriko?
Her head lifts slightly and she regards me with her dull eyes.
Mom?
Where am I? You're not Noriko.
A bead of sweat forms on my forehead, and a shiver crawls slowly down my spine like a spider. Her firm, accusatory tone immediately chills me to the bone.
Of course it's me, Mom. It's me, Noriko.
No, you're... Where am...
Panic settles on her delirious face. I don't exactly blame her for being scared or confused. She's been in a near vegetative state ever since her attempted suicide. But for her to not recognize me, for her to forget what her own daughter looks like, that's inexcusable. Unforgivable. I'm Noriko, damn it. I fall to my knees, the splitting, throbbing, aching pain in my skull reaches a crescendo, threatening to blow my brains out across the living room.
I'm Noriko! Noriko Kurosawa! Look at me, Mom! Look at me!
Mother's eyes widen and she looks like she's gonna vomit. She turns to see Yuriko, white and ghastly, in the seat next to her, and a tear forms in her eye.
What have you done? What is this?
Just shut up! Just shut up and be a part of my perfect family! Look at us! All three of us!
I think you're gonna have to deal with her, fake Noriko.
We're the Kurosawa family, and we're finally back together. We're happy, right? We're happy.
Still on my knees, I slowly lower my head to the ground and let it rest on the soft carpet. I barely register the sound of the door behind me opening slowly. After the creaking hinges come to a rest, a strong voice floods my ears.
Yo, Harold. You're Noriko no longer.
Oh no. It's Kojiro. I mean, Nobel Sinclair.
Got work for you.
The source of the voice wanders towards me and towers above my face, down form. He said I'm no longer Noriko. Can my identity slip away so easily? Can it vanish into thin air like it was never truly a part of me?
No. I will always be. I am Noriko!
I leap to my feet and launch myself at the man who dared to enter my apartment and tell me I'm not truly who I want to be. I barely catch a glimpse of his face before he pummels me in the nose with a broad fist. I'm on the floor again in an instant, the dizzying lights above me spinning in my blurred vision.
Get up. Get your things. We're cleaning up after Corpse Girl's mess.
Alright. Interesting. Alright, let's do the other ending. I guess the next one is the best ending we can have. Ending A. I'm assuming that ending would come about if you manage to make friends with everybody. And then hell would be if you manage to make friends with nobody. And false is if you do a mix of the two. Kind of like how you get, the pacifist ending, the genocide ending, and the neutral ending in Undertale, right? As soon as you kill one guy, boom, you're on the neutral ending run. That sort of thing. Alright, let's do it. I mean, how good can it possibly be? True doesn't mean good, I suppose. Not necessarily. But I don't see how anything good can really come from it. Sometimes on dark and overcast days, I can feel the cold bite of steel inside my gut. It's a phantom sensation that flickers and dissipates within moments. My doctor says it's nothing to be concerned about, but that doesn't prevent me from pulling my clothes aside to examine the skin underneath. The sight of the scar does little to comfort me. I don't think I should have survived this injury. I don't think I should have walked away after regaining consciousness. But somehow I survived that encounter with Aoi. In the darkest recess of my memory, I can vaguely recall the warmth of strong arms carrying me from that factory, carrying me to safety. Somebody saved me on that fateful day, but I don't know who. Regardless, I owe them my life. My new life. A life that is actually worth something. A life that doesn't consist of skulking in the shadows and pretending to be some beautiful corpse. I look down at the empty plate before me and smile. I'm still not accustomed to the sight of a finished meal, but I'm slowly learning to love it. My stomach feels full, truly full, not just full enough like I used to force myself to believe. I put on 4 pounds recently, 4 good healthy pounds. My cheeks glow with vitality and my skin is no longer the sickly colour of ghastly flesh. The waiters at the restaurant are probably getting sick of seeing me here every other day, but I don't mind. I eat well here and I've learned to cook at home too. Tomoe of all people taught me how to prepare dinner. I never expected to study the culinary arts under someone like her. but she has a knack for bringing out the flavour in food. She says she picked up a few things from her years caring for her kid siblings. I'm learning a lot from her. I push my plate to the side and take a sip of water. Time to pay the bill and get going. There are things to do tonight after all. Months have passed since the last time I set foot on these cursed grounds. The wafting stench of decay invades my nostrils and threatens to make me spill the contents of my stomach on the asphalt. It's a stench that I was once completely accustomed to. Now it's a sickening reminder of the person I used to be not so long ago. I didn't want to come here tonight. I didn't want to come here ever. Yet here I am. Call it a hunch or a premonition or just a bad feeling, but some part of my mind urged me to visit this place after receiving a strange text message this morning. A text message that seemed both alien and familiar at the same time. A solitary word decorated the contents of the message. Goodbye. But what drew my attention most was the image attached. A photo of a young woman. A young woman bent over backwards, her face obscured by matted hair and blood, her chest exploding open from the inside. The young woman in the photo was me. It was an image of my own corpse. The craftsmanship was excellent. The cadaver used to replicate my body looked just like me. My first assumption was that the Human Removal Service sent this photo to me, but upon a moment of deliberation, that didn't seem to be the case. The Human Removal Service's activity has declined rapidly as of late. The number of murders or suicides, depending on how you look at it, across Tokyo has decelerated so quickly that it's almost as if the Human Removal Service never existed at all. Besides, that organisation had a particular trademark when sending out doctored corpse photos. They would include instructions with the message, instructions for the victim to follow, usually involving the murder of another victim. The message I received simply said, goodbye. My corpse photo feels personal. It's typical of the work I used to perform. It's almost as if someone took over the identity of Corpsekill, the role that I once filled. But that's crazy, isn't it? I take a deep breath and stride toward the factory's entrance. Is Aoi in there? I almost choke as I breathe in the thick air. The stench of death hangs like smoke inside the factory. This place looks just like it did when I was last here. The notable exceptions are the fresh cadavers displayed here, and thereupon the warehouse racks. Someone's living here. Somebody is continuing Corpsekill's work. And somebody thought it would be wise to target me as a victim. Me, Noriko Kurosawa. Somebody made a fatal mistake. Animalistic instinct rises within me as my legs move with purpose. My feet claw at the damaged concrete ground with every step. I'll kill the new Corpsekill, I'll kill her and bury her. Enough is enough, I'll end the cycle of death that I started so long ago.
Hello? Who are you?
A meek voice slinks through the darkness, tugging aside the veil of silence ever so gently. I concentrate hard in order to identify the direction it came from. If I'm taken off guard even for just a second, it may be my end. My left. The voice came from my left. I spin on one heel and immediately feel bile rise in my throat.
May I help you with something?
What the fuck is this?
My name is Noriko. Noriko Kurosawa. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Aoi? Is that you?
I feel like I'm looking into a twisted mirror. The girl before me is not me, and yet...
Are you here to buy a corpse? I have plenty on display. You can browse as much as you
Oh,
like.
it's a shop.
But that one on the end of the rack is reserved. Sorry.
She runs her grimy hand through her unwashed hair and scratches her scalp violently. A fleck of spittle drips from her lower lip as her eyes glaze over. This is Aoi Sato. Despite the hair and the makeup and the clothes, my old clothes, her voice is the same as I remember.
Aoi, knock it off. You're scaring me.
Who is Aoi? Is that your name? Well, it's nice to meet you, Aoi. My name is Noriko.
A moment of clarity brings immediate understanding. It's like I was torn between my own identity and that of Corpsekill. Aoi has become... me. But her transformation hasn't been kind to her. Any recognition of her previous self has vanished. She doesn't even know her real name. After everything I've been through, I should be more forgiving to someone struggling with their identity. I should be understanding and sympathetic. Aoi, Noriko, gasps for air as my fingers clench her throat. I ram my knee into her stomach and smash her into the warehouse racking, causing several stiff cadavers to crash to the ground around us.
Stop!
Aoi has lost herself. She's discarded all remnants of who she once was. I'm fine with that. I can almost relate to it. But I'm Noriko Kurosawa. I've reclaimed my true self, and I won't let her become me. I am Noriko Kurosawa. And this bitch that stabbed me and left me for dead will not take my life away from me. press Aoi against the steel racks and feel something within her frail body either bend or break. Her dull, tired eyes begin to droop, and the hands scratching at my wrists suddenly give up the fight. I realize I'm panting heavily as I clutch her neck. Her own ragged breathing synchronizes with mine, and it's almost as though we were one person. No, she's not me.
You are not me!
I scream and feel my fingernails puncture her skin. My fingers pierce her neck and drill into her flesh, stopping only when they clasp tightly around her spinal column. With all the strength I can pull from within me, I twist my arm and throw Aoi to the blood-splattered concrete. She hits the ground unceremoniously, her lightweight body barely making a sound as her vacant dead eyes stare up at the cracked ceiling. I never imagined I'd have to dig up this grave for a second time. When I buried Corpsegirl in the gardens below our former apartment, I didn't predict I'd have to see her again so soon. And here she is, still rotten and miserable. I thought her burial was going to be the end of it all, a symbolic gesture to help me leave behind the person I'd become. It was a way to reclaim my former self and bury the past. Corpsegirl doesn't say anything when she sees me lift the dirt from her resting place. She doesn't give any indication that she even notices my presence. Fine, be that way. I couldn't care less.
I've brought a friend for you. Someone to keep you company.
With a great deal of effort, I haul the body of Aoi into the narrow pit and let it collapse beside Corpsegirl. The girl in my old clothes seems to cuddle up to her new companion. It's almost fitting that the person who became me should rest eternally beside the person I'd tried to become. I think I can rest easy knowing that they're both in the ground. I think nothing further can prevent me from being Nautico.
Suppose I should say a few words. You were my best friend, Aoi, and I'm sorry I couldn't save you. I'm sorry that I only ever wanted to save myself. I hope that you at least found some happiness by becoming me. Goodbye.
I clutch the small shovel in my hands and begin to fill the makeshift grave. Dirt and rocks pile into the pit slowly. I mistake the faint howl of the wind as a final moan from the girl I once knew as Aoi. Covered in dirt and grime and blood and muck and God knows what else, I collapse onto the floor of my new apartment. I'm very fortunate I managed to find this place. Someone moved out in a hurry and I was able to move right in with just the first month's rent paid up front. Don't know if I'll be able to afford next month's payment, but I'll face that challenge when it arrives. For now, everything is finally over. I should shower or bathe or at least scrub the filth from my skin. But I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. This is the price of being Nautico Kurosawa. I roll over onto my side and grab my phone, slowly bringing it to my eye level. An involuntary frown masks my dirt-encrusted face when I notice the icon for one missed call on my screen. An unknown number. A short message tells me that the caller left a voicemail. I don't know who would have called me at such a late hour. It's well past midnight after all. I closed my eyes and let the voicemail play.
Hey. Bit late. Sauce. We should talk.
Uh-oh.
Call me?
I don't think so. That's the true ending? Well, it's not really a good ending either, to be fair, but actually I feel like the ending we got, ending B, was probably the best one so far? I don't know. I don't really know. Anyway, we are done. I mean, I could go through again and, you know, befriend the characters to get whatever different dialogue there is, but I'm fine with that. We've got all the endings. And we got Tomoe's bonus ending. That's the only one that I cared about. Anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks again, Alfie, and I'll see you in the next series.